Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Drop it.
Everybody, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Moonshiners Racing League and its OB Builders Cup Series. Tonight, we count down the green from iRacing's virtual Dover Motor Speedway. As we get set for tonight's action, this evening, the OB Builders Cup Series presents the RS Button Boxes 200 at the Monster Mile. Happy to have you with us here on Ballin TV for tonight's coverage. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside me, the booth for tonight is Jeremy Miller. Our producer this evening is DJ Line. He's using cameras provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Tonight we see short track racing on the docket, 200 laps around the Monster Mile. That means for many of these drivers, monster challenges, as this is one of 3 short tracks in the final stretch of the regular season, Jeremy.
Yeah, definitely an interesting animal here. You call it a short track, a lot of drivers would probably beg to disagree. I tend to agree in how it races, but sometimes it can get a little bit speedway-ish too with the high speeds and the high bank corners, but a very unique track. Nothing like it down here in Delaware, and this is my home track, so play special to me. I'm excited to watch this race.
24 degrees of banking around the concrete confines of the Monster Mile. This track can absolutely catch people off guard easily, especially how tight the run off of turn 4 can get here at this racetrack. And for many of the drivers, the challenge is on to the postseason battle. Here's a look at the playoff standings bracket. With 10 drivers locked in on wins, Aaron Matthews is still 38 points up on the cut line. Johnny Shade, though, is the driver that's right behind the cut. Jeffrey Taylor and Paul Gallimore are both more than 60 points up from the cut line entering tonight following Sonoma Raceway.
Yeah, we're starting to see some real separation build at that cut line. It was looking a little murky the last few weeks, but the picture is clear now. Johnny Shade could realistically outpoint Aaron Matthews, but it's going to take a lot of help. I think he needs to win, and anybody else behind him definitely needs to win to make the playoffs.
Aaron Matthews is attending tonight's race, mind you, so he will be here for tonight. Now, remember, tonight's race, 200 laps according to the race analysis. 45 and 90 are your stages. So, in theory, shouldn't be pit stops in the first 2 stages of this race under green. Now, the lengthy run at the end be a different story at a track known for tire punctures. There's plenty of tire sets available overall tonight in the pits with 5 as well this evening. Now, when talking about how things went at Sonoma, let's talk about how things looked in the recap for the Victory Designs 250 at Sonoma Raceway. As that race seen plenty of competition. Alex Coffey, though, started off the night on the pole and led the field to green as they rumbled their way around the Napa Valley. Started with some early trouble for the 12 machine of King. Nick King had some struggles throughout the night, so did Nigel Christensen. Many drivers went off-track excursioning throughout the run, including Barry Sanders. Snapping around on lap 10, took him off the racetrack. Now, 3 drivers all raced along and attempt to flip the stages. Alex Coffey would still pick up the first stage win regardless. Now bring everybody down to pit road for service. In the end, though, that would inherit Jeffrey Taylor the race lead. And as the field had some struggles in the restart zone, everybody trying to settle back on down. But some drivers had some wild contact. Alex Coffey making contact with Matt Cox into the S's, sent both of them spinning. Cox lost almost a minute's worth of time from the spin. Coffey only lost 2 spots from it. Cox would be amongst those trying to flip the stage regardless. Taylor also came down, a part of the stage flip. Kyle Holden, though, would pick up stage 2 with Coffey in second. Now, as things went on, the drivers would come in to pit to give Taylor back the race lead. Taylor had a horrific swing of things to start things off. Same for Kyle Holden. In stage 3, Holden spun the tires and hit the wall. Drivers like Barry Sanders, who did so well in Chicago, struggled at Sonoma Raceway. This spin costing him plenty of time. This for the lead, though. Taylor having issues coming up the hillside, would snap the car around, give the lead back to Alex Coffey. Taylor's race continued to spiral from then on out, just continued to slide the tires, and we wrecked the race car. Some people had to lock up the brakes to hold on to theirs, but the battle for second eventually heated up between Wortman Jr. and Rogers. Alex Coffey in the end would pick up the win in wine country, however, come out on top. Alex Coffey picked up 59 points as part of the race in total. John Rogers second, Tim Wortman Jr. finished off in the top 3 with Jeffrey Taylor, Matt Cox, all in the top 5. So that's a recap of the action from Kenny into Dover Motor Speedway. Jeremy, your thoughts here tonight as these drivers finished up the road course stretch of 2 in a row?
Yeah, moving from the road courses to the high banks of Dover definitely can't be a more harsh transition from track types on the sim or even in real life with racing, but this track's just so difficult. It's one of my worst race tracks, if I'm being honest, when I'm racing on the sim. I just can't ever keep the right front on, and that's what people are going to be struggling with tonight. That final stage, 110 laps, they can make it on fuel there, but it'd be so hard for me to push the tires that long if they go green, so it'd be a really interesting race tonight. People are going to be trying to take care of those tires early in the run.
Drivers are only a few moments away from finishing up qualifying. A lot of drivers tonight actually did not attempt qualifying times. Only 18 of the 25 entries set times in the session this evening. There's been a lot of chitter chatter and excitement about racing tonight. Some drivers calling their shots amongst the competitors, but it's time to see who really gets their shot to go to victory lane here tonight. Qualifying officially is over, and this will bring the field to the racetrack. Let's take a look at how they'll start tonight. Alex Coffey's on the pole. Kyle Holden, 6/1000ths of a second off the pole time in second. Row number 2, that'll feature Paul Gallimore. Chris Davis is in 4th tonight. 5th position goes to Brandon Bikey, with Sean Rogers alongside him. A lot of BMP cars towards the front of the field tonight. 7th goes to Matt Cox. He'll start alongside Nigel Christensen in the 20 car. And rounding out the top 10, Blaine Wilson and Justin Belmonte gets a good starting spot here at Dover.
Yeah, good key effort there for Belmonte. But starting 11th tonight, Johnny Shea needs that win to get in. Joining him is Tim Wortman Jr. still looking for his first win on the season as well. P13 tonight's going to be rolling off with Kevin Ruff and Jeffrey Taylor to his outside in 14th after a strong run in Sonoma. Better place will roll off 15th, joined by Nick King, who saw some struggles last week, looking to rebound in 16th. And our last 2 set lap times tonight are Shane Wyatt in 17th and Caden Northtree in 18th. And the first 2 not to set times will be Aaron Matthews on the inside of that bubble, and joining him is Greg Carr in 20th.
21st goes the way of Jose Medina. Barry Sanders has a bit of a throwback look tonight. He'll start 22nd. Nicholas Atwood's 91 will start 23rd. Ryan Huff is alongside him, 24th spot. And rounding out the entries is Jared Clark. Clark in the 21 car. So 2 pace laps set to get underway here from Dover soon. The track conditions fairly cool. Temperatures 104 degrees air temp, or rather track temp 80 is the air temperature. In terms of iRacing standards, could be hotter, but it's still going to be somewhat slick to start things off since we are on the concrete. Jeremy, what are your expectations here tonight, your keys to victory?
Yeah, I mean, look, kind of hit on it a little bit earlier, but you really just got to keep those tires in check. The rears are going to wear for some of these drivers who have looser setups. The fronts are definitely going to wear for everybody, even if you're on a looser car. If you're too tight, you're just going to get tighter and tighter as the run goes, and you're going to be struggling. So keep it on the bottom, keep the right front happy, and you'll find some success later on in the evening.
Who do you think is going to win the race tonight and why?
I've been racing with Matt Cox at these types of tracks for a long time. He saves tires better than about anybody, so I'm going to go with the 32 tonight. Not the best qualifying effort, but I think on the long runs at a track like this, the race will come to him a little bit.
So you're all about sheet metal pole award once again going the way of Alex Coffey tonight. He'll control the field from the start. 54 set the pole time tonight, that pole time being a 22.871. So keep in mind, lots of potential for tire spin here this evening here at Dover, especially with that front straightaway. See how these drivers handle these starts and restarts here tonight. We race to lap 45 in stage number 1. Final thoughts before we go green here, Jeremy.
Yeah, we're not expecting any green flag stops in the first stage, but if we get them in the final stage, you got to be careful. One of the hardest pit entries on the circuit. If you watch the broadcasts on Saturdays on our friend McConey Entertainment, I had a bit of an incident Saturday night that you were calling. Justin drove it straight in the barrels of pit entry, so if you get a little overzealous in the pit road, it can happen really easily here.
Happy to have you with us tonight here on Ball and TV for tonight's coverage of the OB Builders Cup Series. To have you with us to see who will dig their way to the front, who will find the right mode of speed. Let's find out. All set to go for the start. They'll roll their way through the Simrat Market start zone. Green flag is out. We're underway from Dover. Top 2 check out, the rest do not.
Holden and Coffey very familiar with each other over the last few weeks of road course racing. They've been the contenders in those races. Coffey winning a week ago after an incident with Holden, actually on a restart that caused some damage to that car where he wasn't able to continue. We're still racing hard side by side here. This is going to be a big advantage for the outside car, I believe, on the exit of this turn.
Kyle Holden gets the first lead lap here at Dover tonight. Coffey now settles into the dirty air. Gallimore and Bikey also had decent starts, but single filed out for the most part already. This track very difficult to run side by side at for the most part. So we might see a lot of people just try multi-groove racing. The second groove worked in some league races like FLCC over the weekend. Take a look where some of the battling's going on. That's where Johnny Shade's forced up high side, Belmonte to the inside.
Yeah, that multi-groove will come in as we move on throughout the evening in all likelihood. This track starting to take rubber already here. You'll see the track color change throughout the night. You see really high up there, it's Johnny Shade. Track's probably not quite ready there, a lot of marbles still, but some rubber will build in. Not quite like it does in real life, but it does a bit in the sim, and as that rubber builds in, the grip really changes throughout those parts of the corner, and you want to try to almost get out of it with the right sides of the tires and find some clean track, unless you can find some grip higher up.
Possible change for the lead. Kyle Holden came out of turn 2 and nearly spun it out. Alex Coffey takes it away from him on the outside. Brings Bikey with him. So Coffey retakes the race lead. But for how long after Holden's mistake? And that's the tough thing about turn 2. So easy to snap loose.
Yeah, really easy to do that as well, especially with how free you need to be set up here at Dover for success on the long run. And See Bikey to the outside of the 54 now. He's going to be taking a challenge to the lead here. And this track, really, as much as it is about the driver, this track is a true testament to equipment as well. You can't run well here if you don't have a good handling race car. So we're really going to see which teams brought the best cars to the track tonight as well, who's running the best.
Snap loose for a moment from the high side. Bikey trying to maintain up top groove. He bounces off the wall. Bikey gets the lead lap once again. Just can't seem to close, but the caution is out. We have a major stack up front straight away. Better place amongst those around, and we're under caution.
Cabin Rough, you see down there against the inside wall. He was the first one around in that 14 machine. His damage could look pretty much okay, but some drivers with some hard hits trying to avoid this incident.
So our first caution flag, our first R's Button Boxes replay of the evening. Looks like Atwood, no, Taylor got contact, and then they all stacked up at the front straight away.
See Shane Wyatt there in the 23 with some heavy contact in defender plates after he had contact with the spinning car of Cabin Rough. Cabin Rough just got a lot of help there up off the corner. He was doing nothing wrong. The car behind him, you see right there, Taylor is just on his bumper there out of 2. He gets a better run than him out of 4 coming here and just gets into the back bumper and sends him around.
Right there. Kicks Rough out of the groove, and Fetter Place gets back across the track. Shane Wyatt picks up heavy damage. Also heavy damage, it looks like, possibly. It's 25.
It looks like Jared Clark was caught up in that as well with that nice Flintstones paint scheme we saw earlier. See an onboard look from Shane Wyatt here. See some smoke, but really can't see wherever wreck is with sorry, that's not Fetter Place in front of him. I believe that may have been Matthews, but just nowhere to go for Wyatt in that 23 at that point, as he was committed to the middle of the track.
Hard contact to the front nose, and that's going to bring a lot of people down pit road, obviously. Our first caution of the day. And remember, this series, no fast repairs, so plenty of these competitors have multiple cautions to have to get repairs done here. So, this came just at the right time for Bikey to be able to close up and hold on to the race lead, by the way. 27 to Bikey, able to hold on in front of Coffee. Time of the caution flag. See them now working down the back straight away. And these restarts are going to be treacherous. Plenty of times people we've seen have floored it. Car doesn't stick. Field wrecks behind them.
Yeah, it's nowhere to go. Monster Mile has always been referred to as a self-cleaning racetrack, and that is true. The banking will clean the wrecks down off the track, but they don't go right away, and when they're still in the track surface, it's very narrow, nowhere to go. See some massive wrecks at this track throughout its history. I always think back to Joey Logano in 2009, flipping through 3 and 4. That's a big one, and there's been some crazy crashes on the front stretch as well. There was a cup race there with the entire field wrecking on a restart. I think Dale Jr. almost had a miss and got wiped out by Casey Beers in 13. So just a whole lot of stuff always goes down at Dover, and there's nowhere for these drivers to go. It's just what you saw there.
So field now doubled up here for the restart. 27, 54, 88, 11 in the first 4 spots. Caution so far, collecting a good portion of the field. Car only took about a fuel top off. Everybody else damage repair during that caution sequence. Fetter Place and Medina, the ones not running right now. Medina, from what we can tell, did not take the green flag here tonight. So coming up to the Simrap Market restart zone. This is going to be the first test with these drivers already having about 7 or 8 laps of green flag running on their Goodyear Eagles. Green flag is out. Back underway. No major issues. And a clean start.
See, not much of a launch from Gallimore on the outside there. Coffee, the only car on the outside to get away clean out of that restart zone. Gallimore will fall back to 5th currently, still hung up on the outside of Coxer in the 32. Gets a little bit of contact with the wall in front of his teammate Sean Rogers. They're still going to be racing side by side down into 3. The outside's always a bit of a better place to be when you're side by side here, so Gallimore's going to get that good run up off this turn and He's going to look to try to slow. Ooh, almost some contact. He's a little all over the place right now, Justin. He needs to just get that car secured, live to fight another lap right here, I think.
Yeah, right now, Gallimore just trying to get in line, slams the door. Instead, will try and make the move for third. Fox looks to settle the nose down while Holden tries to keep it up on the high side. Of course, keeping some of the same paint schemes from the Sonoma theme. It looks like some of these drivers. Gallimore could have cleared on by if there wasn't a car in front. Instead, had the check up, has to give up the spot. Reset right now. Coffee backing up his corner significantly here, and that's put him up for grabs for the 88 already.
Yeah, Coffee definitely trying to take care of those tires from what I'm seeing right here. Something you'll notice here with Coffee, actually, those previous two corners, side by side now with Gallimore. Gallimore firing it pretty deep into the corner, getting right on the back bumper of the 54, close to clear right there. That can really, really make you loose here. Somebody gets right up under you, takes all the air off your spoiler, and if you're already free, it can send you spinning even though the guy behind you is not touching you.
Oh, a slam of the door for Coffee. Oh, and Coffee gets loose from it.
Yep, that's exactly what I was just talking about. And Coffee did that to himself there as he was barely clear of the 11, tried to close off his nose, got himself loose. The 11 wasn't even really trying to pack air on him there, as we'll take a look at the RS button box's replay.
A little bit of contact into turn one right there. Gets him loose. Then slides up the racetrack. Bounces off the wall for good measure. No damage though.
Yeah, got out of that relatively unscathed. Just lost a lot of track position at a track where track position is almost as valuable as anywhere else on the circuit. He was P2 when that incident, or P3 when that incident began, and he has now fallen all the way back to the 14th position. Not to mention his tires are going to be struggling from that slide.
The others looking to settle on down. Includes the battle between Davis and Shade. Johnny Shade, much of this race, has just been running high, wide, and handsome in his dig car. He's been trying to really get that top group worked in. Out Davis is willing to just stick to the bottom.
Yeah, from what I've seen so far, Johnny's car is just better up there. I think that's where he really wants to be. See, he goes a little bit lower here in this corner, finally back in the line, but I see him just, what I've seen him on screen, he's been getting better exits when he runs the top of the car, which is natural here, but I think he's really comfortable when he's running that higher groove and might be struggling a little bit when he's a little bit lower on the racetrack.
Well, they're just trying to take their time right now and settle these battles on down as Sanders Alonso's quietly running now in the top 12. Different look for him than normal, but he's right in front of Coffee and Atwood at the moment. Barry Sanders had a bit of a rough one at Sonoma. He's decent on the speedways this season, but of course, had that success at Chicago a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that win in Chicago, nothing else really matters for V81 now. He's just looking to win races. Bad days still are going to hurt you, but they're not going to hurt you nearly as much as you were when you were fighting for points. See Chris Davis with a bit of a moment up there in front of Johnny Shade. Now it's going to allow Aaron Matthews to be inside of the 45. Shade starting to trend a little bit backwards here. Not quite where that car wants to be right now for the handling with that driver.
Now, Aaron Matthews, the next one, trying to make a move on Shade. No Matthews about so close to the cut line entering tonight. Going to be important to keep scoring more and more points here. Matthews still not able to find a way around the 45. As Nigel Christensen is the one who instead might have a chance to make a pass here. Instead has to settle back down. So, Aaron Matthews off and on when it comes to what we've seen this season with the 5. Just trying to battle it on out here. Try to pick up spots with Christensen to his inside.
Yeah, definitely looking to move forward here in the 5. We saw he's on the first car in on that bubble to start this evening. Has a good points gap to that 45 of Johnny Shade right there in front of him. So those are the two to be watching for the season with that battle. But currently Matthews okay with everything going on here. Maybe not so okay with how close Nigel Christensen got to the back bumper on that corner. But look at Barry Sanders, huge run to the inside. He cleared him basically before they got to the corner.
Nice little send. Christensen going to have to be careful on the cross-up. Instead settles back on down in a line. And that's one thing I'm noticing for a lot of these drivers, unless somebody makes a mistake or you force yourself to have the move be done, it's hard to, well, make any sort of pass here tonight. This track, you have to really take your time, it seems, if you want to set something up, Jeremy.
Yeah, you do, Vatter. You just got to manipulate the car in front of you with the air, make them uncomfortable, and try to make them concede the position that way. Something our producer pointed out in our here on the truck is the sun went away. Very cloudy on the track right now. The grip is going to change very quickly with the conditions like this. So drivers that have been struggling with tight conditions are only going to get worse. So those cars that we saw on the exits, the corners going backwards, are going to have even more of a fit right now as the track cools down. But Matt Cox, he's coming forward early here, already to the back bumper of Gallimore, and he's looking to make that move quickly.
Losing our chance on the setup. Remember, they battled a little bit earlier on. This time Matt Cox, his beast mode car, able to do it quickly. Our teammate, so a little bit of teamwork once again there, knowing that Cox is getting faster, and this is where, for some of those who may save the tires, some of that speed might start to shine here, because around lap 20 is where the setup really starts to separate things out.
Yeah, definitely about a bit of a cliffing point in the run here, so always looking to see how cars react as we hit certain points in the run, 20 laps, 40 laps, when we get later in the night, even 60 laps on that final stage. So right now, still relatively early in the grand scheme of things of a run, but definitely going to see who's going to be a comer and who's going to be a goer.
Great race for Belmonte, by the way, known for good speed on the short tracks. He's been having a solid run tonight, a quiet one for the Warrior Racing Machine, but quiet and deadly when it comes to his passes. Belmonte's had a rough time in a lot of the races lately, Jeremy, but tonight, looking very strong.
Yeah, always a driver that does a good job getting around the racetrack on his own, and pretty good racecraft when he's around other cars. Just been on the wrong end of bad luck and other drivers' incidents, kind of catching up that 60. But part of that is track position. When you're not running the best and you're in the mess, you're more likely to get caught up in the wrecks that happen. So up front right now, good track position, P6, looking to move forward on Sean Rogers. This is a safer part of the field to be in, and he's getting rewarded for it early.
Just trying to set something up, it looks like, to get some clean air with the nose to get around to 44. No place to poke white yet, as we're almost through this run. 15 laps to go in stage number 1. Oh, and he pushed way up, just got a little bit tight in that dirty air. Slammed to the wall for Belmonte, no damage though.
Yeah, just needs to be careful with that. Doesn't want to throw that car into the fence too many more times. We'll take a look at the RS button box's replay here. Off the nose of the car behind him. So he's looking for a way to the right rear of the 44 and just gives it too much gas all the way through center. You can see it's not really rotating and gets to the wall right there. And just, yeah, it's not great.
Let's do the next corner. See it right here. Oh, by nose.
And just no clean air there for him to get that rotation.
Almost moved the safer barrier back a good few feet there with the contact. Still live action. Belmonte is getting the chance now to make the move, and the caution.
Shade and Coffee down the back straightaway, both into the inside wall. Pretty heavy contact for the 45, and you see the damage on the 54 there as well. That is what was dangerous for Coffee when he lost out of track position. Got behind the hornet's nest and got caught up in a wreck.
RS Button Box's replay for the second time tonight for a caution flag. And it all starts with a couple people losing control. Shade in particular lost it after contact from Barry Sanders. Nigel Christensen, Sanders, Huff rather, amongst those also who picked up damage.
Get a double look at the start of this incident here to 45. Let's see. Yeah, Barry Sanders just got to that left rear. I don't know if he hit him first or if he got loose first and then hit him. It was a really quick bang bang looking play right there. So 45 might have gotten loose with the air, but also could have been some net code or some contact from the 81. It's really hard to tell right there.
See right there, just a small bit to the quarter panel. That's
yeah,
enough
definitely got into him.
Yeah, absolutely. And that will regroup the field. Coming around to 10 laps to go. Nigel Christensen already amongst those in with significant repairs needed.
I think Shade's Knight's going to be pretty hindered from what I saw of that car. Looked pretty heavily damaged. Coffee will have a chance to get this thing fixed as we move on throughout the rest of this race. I don't know quite how damaged it is, obviously, but there's a... doesn't look terminal on that 54, but it might need a yellow or two to get it fully repaired.
It's going to definitely hurt their chances for the next few stages, absolutely. So, Coffee and Munsell still getting repairs. Shane Wyatt, at the very least, has fixed most of the damage. Jose Medina is back on the racetrack after missing the start. So Medina is running out of those on circuit.
There's that 48 of Medina. Missed the start, as you mentioned, but he's going to get back out there and turn some laps and might be able to gain a few spots on track throughout some attrition throughout the rest of the evening.
So a few drivers just got to give up penalties trying to rush out of the pit lane. Coffee, believe, managed to fix the fender on the 54 though. So, Mikey has been in control most of this stage so far. After starting the 5th position, he'll control things on the front row with Kyle Holden. Matt Cox, Paul Gallimore, Justin Belmonte are still your top 5. Field just about all set to reach the SimRap Market restart zone. This going to bring us to a 9-lap dash to end out stage number 1. Most of the field still on much older rubber. Everyone waddles their way to the start zone this time. Green flag, a lot of checkups on the outside. Aaron Matthews spun the tires.
I see drivers scattering all over the racetrack. Inside line really benefited from that. We'll get Belmonte. He's up to P3 in that 60 car off that restart. And Cox, that brought him all the way back to the back bumper of Bikey after he was about 2 seconds behind when he was working his way through traffic. Has a chance at the lead early now on this run.
Gallimore trying to move on Wilson. Wilson getting the elbows out. That's for the top 5. And Wilson looking to take advantage of a good start for him. As he gets the run, bounces off the wall, makes the pass. Gallimore will at least keep it to the fender on these send attempts, as there's the move complete now for Gallimore instead. They're almost being Wilson's. So the battle is on for the race lead, as you mentioned. It's Matt Cox that's over the rear end of Bikey.
Yeah, Wilson might have gotten some damage out of that. It was a bit of a contact with the wall. Bikey doing a good job, though. He's separating from Cox a little bit. Clean air is so valuable at Dover. Front cars at a massive advantage at this track. So right now, the tires are even remotely even. It's going to be a nearly impossible task for at 32 to pull off the pass. He really needs to find a big discrepancy in speed to make that move work, and not a lot of laps left in this stage to do that.
Your driver still just trying to settle on down. Sanders way up the track in the battle for 8th position. Gavin Ruff's recovered from his incidents to be able to already get right back up to him as well. Great recovery from Ruff already, and it only took him less than 30 laps from the incident. Some of these drivers from the checkup on the restart, Aaron Matthews, significant damage from it. Huff still dealing with damage, losing spots.
Yeah, road front damage is going to make these cars very, very tight. You see them both going backwards with that. You see Taylor there to the inside, gets by Huff, and here comes Chris Davis following him as well. So continuing the free fall on the 24 car now with that damage all the way back to 18th. Alex Coffey, 19th, will be next up in line for that position in the 54.
Wyatt Munstall is now getting a chance to push for the first time in a while after the front nose was caved in. Oh, Nick Kane way up the track. Just checked everybody up.
Struggling a little bit there in the 12 car, just hoping to hold on until the end of the stage here, but they're fighting for that final stage point. That's going to be Wyatt moving in the 10th. Tim Wortman Jr. on the inside of the 12 now. He's looking to pick up 11th to go chase back down that 23 car and have a chance at passing him for those points. But Wyatt, in just that little bit of time after clearing the 12 and those two being side by side, is able to put a big gap between the two of them.
Meanwhile, Belmonte's driven his way up to third spot so far in this stage. Coming up to 1 to go in the stage. The battle's not done for third yet, though. Hold it inside. Belmonte outside. 60 of Belmonte gets the squeeze to be able to retake the spot. Slams the door on Kyle Holden on the brakes.
Holden way up, working the outside line through 1 and 2 here. Going to try to set that run up down the back straightaway once again. He's going to have one more shot at the 60 car down here in the turn 3. We'll see what he does with it.
They're way up the racetrack. They're all up the track. Brandon Bikey will take the stage. Well, Matt Cox, Justin Belmonte, Kyle Holden, Paul Gallimore, the top 5. Wilson finished in 6th, Rogers in 7th, Huff, Wyatt, and Sanders amongst your top 10 at the stage break. But in the end, it's Bikey that's looking like he's got a car to beat. He's going to be difficult to beat with the speed he's got right now, Jeremy.
Yeah, he's looked really, really fast, and he has that track position, like we mentioned, so valuable, the clean air here. He doesn't have to push nearly as hard as anybody behind him to run a good lap time, and that just gets better and better over the course of the run for the leader.
We'll take a step aside. All in TV has more coverage of the OB Builders Cup Series. After this, you're watching tonight's action from Dover.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back, everyone, to Dover Motor Speedway for tonight's coverage of the OB Builders Cup Series. As we get ready for the restart, up front, Chris Davis is playing a different strategy. He pit under the previous caution. A risky play here for the Simrat Market restart zone, especially since tires are so important here at Dover, Jeremy.
Yeah, I understand the desire for track position. I just don't know how well this is going to work out. That's a big ask out of these Goodyear Eagles from what we've seen so far today.
Big gamble here on the strategy. Going to see how this works out after his tire sets. Already near 3 wide for the race lead. Brandon Bikey, as expected, takes the lead. Here comes Belmonte for second.
That was a really aggressive look to the bottom. Cox, oh, Gallimore in the wall, wrecking behind and takes Sean Rogers with him. Saw Cav and Ruff there. Norfrey with a great job of winning on the apron. Doesn't look, oh, Nigel Christensen just almost got caught up really late. Sean Rogers able to roll away though. Damage doesn't look too bad on that 44 car. That was a big moment there down the back straightaway.
Caution is out. Let's take a look at this again. Our Spotted Boxes replay. You spotted it first. What did you see?
Yeah, Gallimore just free up there on the outside into the 44. Gonna have to take another look at that, see if there is anything more going on there. But the 44 did a great job keeping it as predictable as he could, is really the best way I can put it with Dover, but not getting clobbered by anybody further back in the field.
That puts us back into the caution flag and will mix up the field a little bit. This is the tough thing about the timing of things. A lot of people going to have Buzz tires the rest of the way here. Gallimore, Rogers, a lot of people. Christensen did sneak his way through. I believe he's the lucky dog.
Yeah, does look to be the lucky dog there. Another thing with the tires, as you mentioned, they slid him a while there, and only 5 sets here tonight, Justin. The tires are so important here. I don't know if you can afford to use a set here even after a spin like that. You almost have to sit here and suffer out the rest of the stage on your hurt tires.
Hence the strategy in theory for Chris Davis as well.
Yeah, definitely looking like that might not have worked quite as he wanted it to on that restart, but he'll be P2 for the coming up one as Bikey got the lead. We'll see how he fires off this time, as those drivers at least put a corner of heat into their tires. But Davis on the same amount of tires remaining, I believe, as everybody else in the field. The only issue is his are just a little bit older right now as they go through the rest of the stage.
Does put us under the yellow flag once again. Shane White's doing a great job cutting his way to the field after his incident right now.
Yeah, he had some problems early, but he's recovered well up to P7, so a good drive out of him there in the 23. Always good to see Shane moving through the field, and he's had a bit of a rough stretch of road courses like many drivers did in this league, so he's definitely probably happy to be back in an oval.
Yeah, absolutely. Been surviving since the incidents early on in the race. Coming to 1 to green this time by. So, try this again. And a few drivers do pick up EOL penalties, but now we'll see how drivers really pace themselves, Jeremy.
Yep, gonna be coming to the restart here. We'll have, what's that? So just a little bit under 40 laps left in the stage here. So as we're working through, getting to lap 90 is the next caution, next scheduled caution that is. Obviously could have some incidents between now and then. So tires have to go a big distance here. Gonna be looking at Chris Davis. He's just looking not to get wrecked realistically. He's not gonna hold off to see all the tires, and I think he knows that.
So we'll come up to the restart here. This should be an interesting time for these drivers as we get ready to fire off. Simrat Market restart zone coming up. Green flag is out. We're backing away from Dover.
See a bit of a struggle through the launch there already for the 74. Chris Davis on the outside, older tires, but finds a little bit of a gap there in P3 in front of Cox. Second straight restart now as 32 has been impeded by that 74. He's going to be looking for a way around quickly, but really good job at Chris Davis through 1 and 2 this time. Maintains some really good pace.
Now Holden able to shuffle into line. First one on the outside of Twortman Jr., who's been quiet all night. And most of the field tries to get in rhythm as, a massive send. Holden nearly pushes up to 32.
Yeah, definitely got a bit aggressive with the throttle there through the center of the turn, but was able to get out of it just enough not to cause an incident. It's going to put Cox to the outside, now trying to look to get to Barrier. 70! Chris Davis just dumped Justin Belmonte out of turn 4. Belmonte was having such a great day, and he just got wrecked. That's a shame. And he's going to get hit again. Christensen with nowhere to go.
Caution flag is out once again. And that is going to hurt a lot of people's great runs. Tempers are flaring. Bit of a chaotic one, and people are not happy.
Yeah, just see Wortman there, nowhere to go. Taylor, Atwood, comes back up in front of Christensen. You see Kevin Ruffcott turn back there, heading north for you with an incident again. Just all these drivers, nowhere to go, and all of it started up front for P2 of 74, just got it to the back bumper of the 60.
Yeah, right about here. Watch this, Belmonte. Yeah, just hit him.
Yeah, I mean, nothing malicious, obviously, out of the 74. Just made a mistake and overcharged the exited turn, which honestly I'm surprised he was capable of overcharging the exited turn with how much older his tires were, but he must have done a better job of saving those tires than I thought he did on the previous runs. But he'll still be P2 here with those old tires. He'll be restarting on the top again. We'll see how it goes for him in 74. Belmonte is one of the least angry in the field, though, notably, Justin, compared to all the other drivers that got caught up in that wreck.
Yeah, a lot of people. Taylor, Matthews, Atwood, amongst those who peeled on down to pit road this time. Pick up more damage repair. And what can you say? The Monster Mile with Miles loves to eat race cars. And this is the type of anger that the Miles the Monster statue really loves to thrive upon. What else can you say? He loves seeing destroyed cars.
Yeah, it's always been this track's marketing shtick, and we're seeing more and more of that stuff, so just gonna keep wrecking probably, I think, with what we've been seeing so far. It's just so unavoidable at this track, especially on iRacing, and I'm sure we're not done crashing just yet.
Okay, one to go. So, once again, it's Bikey, it's Davis, Holden, Wilson, Cox, Wyatt, Coffey, King, Rogers, and Sanders are all in the top 10 for this upcoming restart. There's a look at Wyatt up from the outside, just picking them off one by one now as they stack up. Oh, I'm not sure what the reference is. That is an interesting nickname for Wayne Ward. That is a very wordy nickname.
Yeah, I saw Jordan Boostman calling him Wayne Ward quite a bit in the chat, so a little bit of a nod to that. And no of us do like to mess around with each other, but Shane Wyatt up to P6, good recovery, and a lot of misfortune. Oh, did you see the car behind him right there, Justin? Nick King's up to 8th.
I seen that too, and he's been all over the track. Simrat Market Machine, or rather the Simrat Market Restart Zone. Let's see who's going to wrap their way around the bottom of this restart. Green flag is out. Davis did not go. Wilson not happy on the radio as Davis keeps it slow and gets passed by 5 cars. Now Davis getting bumped and rammed by Wilson.
Yes, Alex Coffey restarted 9th up to P4 there, so just not a good restart at all. The outside lane, Chris Davis did not get going. Wilson got in the back bumper, which made it worse seemingly from that point, trying to help the 74 get back going, and he's fallen back to 5th now.
Let's take a look at this on the restart. And Wilson almost moved the 74.
Yeah, it could have been a big wreck there. All the cars bunched up on a restart. Could always see some drivers piling in. Another really concerning thing with these restarts is tire spin. We haven't seen somebody wreck themselves yet with tire spin, but that can happen quite a bit here at Dover, so it's a good thing we've avoided that so far. But drivers settling back in line now. Davis in 5th in front of Wilson, and they're just a little bit ahead of Barry Sanders up there to P7 as Shane Wyatt fell to P8 on that restart.
Yeah, Davis on the old tires, not surviving too well right now. Wyatt trying to find a way around Sanders again. You know who's also surviving? Huff. Been involved in a couple incidents here tonight. Has gotten a lot of hits that front nose, but he's been able to fix the front nose for the time being. I'm very curious to see where this 24 really settles on in here on pace with all of the resilience. 15 spots gained tonight.
Yeah, he almost dropped to dead last earlier. If you remember with the damage, so great recovery for him up to P9 right now. And the field just keeps slipping back and forth. It seems like drivers come in waves to the front, then they have issues, and the drivers that had issues before them find their way back to the front.
Barry Sanders has also gone up 15 spots for the time being. Owen Wyatt nearly got him in the quarter panel. See that for the back end as he just tries to maintain his line in a rhythm. And the tough thing about this track, too, is the dirty air can be a bit of a factor here for these competitors to be able to have to race their way around. For some of these drivers, it's so difficult to get the car to plant when the car wants to follow the arrow in front.
Yeah, definitely always difficult with the air here at Dover. Dirty air is such a problem at this racetrack. We've been talking about it all night. Air on the back of the car, a problem too. Like we've seen a few incidents, somebody gets close to your back bumper, you get really sideways, and you can spin in front of the field, and a whole bunch of cars wrecked just from a little bit of an aero game being played. But that 24 of Huff, you said we were looking to see where that pace was settling. It looks like that pace is settling in positively. He's caught the back bumper of this group in front of him. He's looking pretty good right here.
Pretty solid right now in this line. Top two have just about broken away by more than a second, mind you, this run already. Mikey and Holden pulled away. Rogers, he's trying to make his way to the inside for some passes. King nearly getting squeezed up into the wall, though. Though the 44 has some decent speed, it's just been about staying out of trouble for him.
And something he hasn't been able to do quite yet this evening. He's found himself into a couple of incidents and recovering right now back into the top 10 in that 44. Looks like he's got that car all fixed up, so he's looking to come forward. He's catching that group in front of him pretty quickly as well. Sean Rogers still some good pace. So contact there. We had Shane Wyatt and Ryan Huff a little squirrely down the front straightaway.
That's because Wilson got in the back end of Sanders coming through 3 and 4. Some near contact from the back straightaway. Now everyone's getting checked up right behind this 18. Huff saying, I've got to go. Squeezes down, no issue. And that's the thing. Some of these drivers are trying to remain patient, but some are saying, I've just got to go.
Yeah, Huff did a good job there, getting 2 spots in the short amount of time. Shane Wyatt follows him through now as well, there on the outside after he got passed by Huff. So Huff up to P7, that put Wyatt still in 8th as he got around Wilson. Wilson falling backwards quickly here. He's going nowhere in a hurry.
Yeah, Wilson right now just trying to stay in front of Wortman Jr. and shade at the moment. And Boyne Wilson's had some decent runs at times throughout the campaign. Jeremy, your thoughts on his season?
Yeah, it's just been up and down. You know, some decent runs, as you mentioned, a lot of attrition, some wrecks, some of his own doing, some of others doing. Just a very up and down season for V18. Unable to find consistency through much of the campaign has been the real thing plaguing him on most weeks.
Right now, Wilson running 11th for the check-in so far. Mikey's now pulled away by more than a second all of a sudden for the race lead, by the way, as that is after Holden fell off a little bit in the past couple laps to 24 flats. 23.8, it's about 0.8 of a second of fall off this run for the 27 so far. And Brandon Mikey, if he keeps this up, is going to be very difficult to beat on the long run in stage 3.
Yep, I see up front, Brandon Bikey obviously still been running great lap times. A lot of the drivers up front are drivers with wins this season. We were talking about Wilson. He's the first driver in points that doesn't have a win, so while he's comfortably in the playoffs right now, he'd still like to get that done. You see Tim Wortman Jr. just a few spots behind him on your ticker as well. Another driver without a win, so those up and down seasons have been good enough, but they both want to find victory lane. You see Holden here in the 88. This driver found victory lane as recently as Daytona on the road course, so he's looking to see if he can get it done on an oval this week. Matt Cox obviously has been a strong contender all year, and Coffee behind him as well.
Cox reeling in the car in front a little bit right now, but still needs 0.8 to pick up to have a shot at that spot. Coffee, meanwhile, started up front, He's been able to get the damage basically fixed on that car, and now is looking to roll here. Right now, he's been able to get back to fourth. His speed about in the same ballpark as the leader.
Yes, pretty good pace right now on the 54. We saw earlier in the race when you've ended up in the fence, very free early in a run, but that's what you need at Dover. You have to be uncomfortable to be fast at this racetrack, and I think we're getting to a point in the run where that discomfort becomes comfort while other drivers are starting to get too tight and losing that rotation in the front of the race car. Chris Davis, though, right there in fifth, I mean, done a great job holding on to those older tires, better than I expected. I think he must have been really babying those tires around the racetrack, so while they were 10 laps older, I don't think he was really pushing them at pace during any of those laps.
Right now, as the rest of the field settles down, as they start to spread apart here. It's the nature of this racetrack. It's such a tough circuit. You were here in person this past weekend. What does this track look like in terms of how daunting this can be when you look at it from the spectator's perspective?
I actually missed the Dover weekend this year, but I've been coming to this track my entire life, and I can tell you the banking is misconceiving of what you're seeing on your screen now. It is so much steeper of a hill than it even looks on here, and I know it looks pretty steep even on the sim. Had hot passes last year at Dover, so I was on the infield looking up the banking from there. I mean, even the straightaways are just so angled, and it's really a giant bowl, and you wonder how it doesn't fill up with water every time it rains when you're down there.
Right now, Cox, he's right there with Holden now in the battle of the Red Bull themed paint schemes. Tires seem to be looking a little bit better on the 32 right now to be able to keep this gap closed on in slowly but surely here. We know Cox on the long run has a rocket from what we've seen at times this season.
Yeah, Cox just does a great job on tires. Any track that's got a high tire degradation, he's a good pick, so that's why I went with him today. Looking like Bikey's got him covered right now with the rest of the field, but if Cox can get clear of Holden, he'll be looking for that spot here or side by side on turn one. Holden's not going to put up a fight either. Cox is going to get by easily here. Holden lets him go, so we'll see if the 32 can start to reel in our leader. Only a few laps left in the stage.
Keep an eye on it here. Right now they just maintain for the time being. 2 seconds is the gap now for the 32. Less than 15 laps to go in the stage. Less than 10, I should say.
Yeah.
Right now, we're seeing the speed. Right now, Bikey's still a 10th up higher, Jeremy.
Yeah, Holden falling way off with the dirty air. Ran a 6 last time, so that car struggling at this point in the run. And if we have a green-looking final stage, we're going to see runs a lot longer in this, Holden a better lap there, but still Bikey class of the field by nearly half of a tenth there. So that 27 is really, really fast. And at this point, you can't blame the dirty air if you're Matt Cox in the 32 because you're far enough back that you're really not feeling too much of it.
Dominant run so far today for the 27. 6 coming to 5 laps to go in stage 2. It's led 76 of the laps so far tonight here from Dover Motor Speedway. It's looking like you'll have to go through him if you want to win this race. Right now, some of the other drivers just trying to settle on in. By the end of the stage, things are getting a bit spicy for 8th with Kelly Moore and company. Outside of that, things have calmed down significantly. Ryan Huff is the one that's trying to make a move on this 11. Got a little bit tight with the arrow, puts him up for grabs for the 44.
Rogers with a really tight hole there on the bottom of the racetrack, was barely able to fit that car underneath the 24 safely. Still tight side by side up off of turn 4. Dover's a really tough racetrack to run side by side with your competitors. You always want a little bit extra room here, but that 24 was not given any for 3 and 4, but 1 and 2 will concede the position. I'll see Son Rogers move on through forward, and Wilson's now going to be working off the back bumper of Huff. But look at that, Cavanaugh in the 14 is starting to make a play for some points here too.
Looking to try and get the top 10 back here to close out the stage. They have less than 3 laps to work with. Ruff's had some front nose damage here tonight, some scrapes to the race car, but he's been decent when it comes to overall speed. Wilson, though, looking to wrap the high side. A bit of a squeeze, Ruff nearly into the wall.
Yeah, these three here looking like they're trying to crash as we get to the end of this stage. Another little tight moment there, but 24 pulls it hard down the racetrack on the exit. He's going to let the 14 go. I think he's thinking better of wrecking that race car over 1 point right now.
Got a little bit sketchy there as we come up to 1 to go in the stage, this time by Brendan Bikey. He's been outright dominant here so far from Dover Motor Speedway, as mentioned. So far the fall off, about 1 second for him. He'll dominate the second stage by almost 2 seconds in the very end. Green and white checker flag coming out. Brandon Bikey wins stage number 2.
A dominant fashion once again there for the 27. This is a track where they always talk about it's so unique to get around here. You find drivers that just figure out how to do it so much better than everybody else, and that 27 seems to have that just figured out.
So Bikey, Cox, Holden, Coffey, Davis, Gallimore, Sanders, Rogers, Wilson, Ruff, all in your top 10 at the end of this stage. Caution's already been thrown. Field now will reset. We'll take a step aside. More coverage coming up. You're watching tonight's action for Dover Motor Speedway. More coming up here on Ballin TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Yeah. Hello. Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's coverage of the OB Builders Cup Series. So we get ready for a restart here. So we are just about set to get fired off. Brendan Bikey, Matt Cox, Kyle Holden, Alex Coffey, Paul Gallimore, Chris Davis, Sean Rogers, Barry Sanders, Blaine Wilson, Captain Ruff are your top 10 here for the restart. Your thoughts so far tonight, Jeremy?
Brandon Bikey, race is going to go through him. Best car, I'd be headed over to the casino right now there on the backstretch putting some money on him, but the odds probably not too good at this point as he is a massive favorite to win this race. But Matt Cox looking like he might have a little something on the longer runs for him. We'll see as this stage is much longer than the previous two. If it goes green at that 32, can beat him on the longer side of the run that we haven't seen yet.
So we'll see how this run goes. Again, these drivers, by the time that we get going, have 106 laps to go. Coming up to the SimWrap Market restart zone yet again. Green, we're back underway. A slow start from the outside for Cox, but it's Bikey who's able to keep it single file up front.
This is a really important battle for Matt Cox right now. He doesn't want to have to work off the back of Kyle Holden again this run. He wants to try to be in second, take care of his tires in second. It makes a difference. Every position matters with that air. He's going to clear him for now, and you see Coffey on the high side. He's looking to move forward on this run as well as he's attacking Holden for P3.
Looking to try and make the move. Here we go. Coffey up the racetrack now for second. Alex Coffey, good recovery on the short run. Has been able to regain second. Now the question is, will he have the speed to battle for the race lead?
See if that 54 maybe made some adjustments. It's going to help that car come forward on this run. Highest we've seen him running since he made the mistake earlier, so let's see what he's able to do with it.
So right now the distance about 5-6 car lengths between the two of them, near 4/10 of a second. Coffey just at the fastest lap of the race. He's the only driver to set a time in the 23 flat so far tonight here at Dover. He wants that clean air, and he wants it now. Another lap time, 2/10 quicker than the leader.
Said this race was going to go through Bikey, and at this rate, the 54 is going to try to do just that, catching up to the 27 rapidly on this run. This lap, though, not quite as much faster, anyways, than the 27. But that's because he got so much closer to that back bumper. The air just becomes so difficult to work your way through when you're that trailing car.
Right now, with some of the air battles going on, Gallimore tries to clear. Wilson had a chance, didn't take it, didn't want to get the nose sawed off. Instead, Wilson trying to use that third groove a little bit with the right side tires. Get the power down. He's a little bit higher up than some of those who use that middle groove, and he just lost it. Wilson steps out, slides up in the marbles. What a save.
Great save indeed. Lost all his track position, but he kept the car in one piece. He's going to continue to go backwards here. He'll find the slot in the line there behind Nick King, so that puts the 18 down to 16th after he was battling solidly inside the top 10.
Sketchy moment for the 18. See him drop all the way down the running order to 16. Gavin Ruff, meanwhile, he's right now running in ninth again. He's caved in the front nose again.
Yeah, if the damage we're seeing on our end is actually there for Kevin Ruff, I don't know how he's running like he's running right now at this racetrack. He's making a move on Johnny Shade. This will put him in 8th if he's able to complete this pass. Shade, though, going to fight him on the high side right now. He's been using that top. Oh, no! And he turns him down the back straightaway. Johnny Shade wrecked once again here in Dover.
Caution is out with under 100 laps to go, just past halfway. Johnny Shade spun yet again here at Dover. Avoided significant damage this time, though, outside the rear.
And we take a look off the back bumper of this car on the RS button boxes replay. Take a look from the door as well. 14 of Kevin Ruff just comes up and gets him in the left rear on the exit of that turn. Back end into the wall hard there down the back straightaway.
Second major incident for Shade of memory here tonight. Ruff had gotten that damage originally from a stack up on the restart. Now, see it there, never stuck to the bottom. Pushes up. Bye-bye.
Yeah, nothing Johnny Shade can do there. Just an innocent passenger along for the ride. Locked it down, kept it from getting worse, but he's going to have to recover once again. We didn't run many laps, but pit stops, Justin.
Yeah, split decision with the 2 here. We've seen how significant even an 8-lap difference on tires were earlier. So 5 different drivers holding the tire set in their back pocket here, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'll see if this is going to be tires or fuel only, possibly. It looks like jacks are up. These drivers are taking tires. They have the sets to do it, but they're going to have to hope that later on in the evening they don't regret this decision and end up needing a set. 4 tires on Coffey, saw 2 tires on those 2 BMP cars that were leaving pit road. So 4 tires for the 54, 2 tires for the 27 and 74. I don't know if it was worth coming down and giving that track position just for right side tires.
I don't think Chris Davis even took tires. He topped off on fuel. Some people, like Nick King, also did the same. Nicholas Atwood also had a 6-second pit stop. So a bit of a gamble here for some of these drivers that have now taken what will essentially be their third or fourth pit stops of this race. They're down to one set the remainder of the way. They will not have a set if there's a caution flag likely at the end.
I guess from Coffee's mind, if you do the same as the well, it doesn't actually the leader Bikey pits. So I was gonna say if you do the same as the leader, you follow the leader, you don't beat the leader. But Coffee pit, Bikey 2, obviously Coffee 4, but Coffee not going into the box. So Cox doing something different, staying out here. This is gonna be really interesting to see how this works out. And the other question mark now for Bikey is he's been leading all night. How's his car gonna drive back in this dirty air? And does he get caught up in an incident trying to get back to the lead?
Delayed green as one of the cars stopped on the racetrack. See, the temperatures are cooling down here at the facility, by the way. So it is getting cooler and cooler as we go on here from Dover Motor Speedway, which means more grip.
Yeah, more grip can almost be a bad thing at this racetrack, though, as we talked about earlier. When the clouds rolled in, if you're handling tight, you can get a lot tighter as it cools off. So really just depends on what your car is doing well, what you want the track temps to do from here on out.
So we'll have one more pace lap before we get back underway here. Matt Cox, Kyle Holden in the front row, Sean Rogers, Jeffrey Taylor, Shane Wyatt, all are staying out here. Chris Davis, Brent Bikey, Alex Coffey, Nick King, then Barry Sanders, believe, is the top 10 at the moment for this restart. And we might see a big stack up here on this restart, too.
Yeah, none of the drivers that stayed out on old tires are drivers that I would typically consider to be dangerous, for a lack of better terms. I think they're all drivers that are seasoned enough and talented enough to be safe in this situation, but tire differences can still be dangerous even with the best of the best. So gonna be really, really careful stepping on eggshells here if you're Bikey trying to get back to that front.
So get regrouped here for this restart. Again, should be an interesting time for these drivers. Bikey, for the first time really since the start, will have to deal with traffic. Simrat Market restart zone this time through. Slow roll through, green flag is out, everybody tiptoes. Was there any major tire slide? No, there was not. Cox in the clear.
Yeah, no major tire spin. Some little stack ups though here and there, which allows the inside line to gain an advantage mostly through that restart. So you see Holden falls back behind Sean Rogers. Davis in the wall. Look at Bikey already working with those tires, trying to get back up into position. He'll work around Wyatt for fifth.
Looking to go to the inside for it. And caution. Caution flag is out. It's front straightaway. And the issue is Blaine Wilson with some contact across the nose of the 24. Ryan Huff saying, yeah, you weren't clear on the radio. And Huff spun out again.
You look here at the RS button boxes replay and see off the corner. 18 does come up, gets into the 24, gets him sideways down the straightaway. Ended up straightening it out though, which brings out the caution. And so if we can get a look, you see the tire spin there. Yeah, so going down into this turn, Ryan Huff had contact with Johnny Shade after the fact and destroyed his race car.
I'm not sure what was going on with Shade there in that situation, but in this case on the RS button boxes replay, you see it quite clearly. Wilson not clear. They're going to be fine too until right here.
Oh, Shade just wiped them out. I mean, I don't know if Shade didn't know he was there or what. He was just trying to get it back gathered up. That's River Wreck with the 18 and got absolutely right side door to the outside wall.
That destroys them in that regard. So, back in the yellow, Paul Gallimore, Blaine Wilson, Justin Belmonte, Aaron Matthews, Greg Carr, Ryan Huff, all made trips down pit road this caution. So, cautions, precautions here. What else can you say?
Yeah, just definitely, like we talked about, I didn't think we were done wrecking, and they haven't been done wrecking. Huff clarifying in the sim that he's not mad at Johnny Shade, doesn't think Shade did anything wrong, and I think Shade was just trying to avoid the wreck and had no angle for the corner, which caused them to meet in the middle there. Just an unfortunate byproduct of the wreck with the 18 beforehand, but it looks like they're getting ready to double up here, and we should be taking one to green. We'll get restarted once again with 90 to go at Dover.
Talk real quickly with Shane Wyatt as we are under caution here. Shane, your thoughts on the race so far?
Yeah, it's kind of went how I expected. Quite a few wrecks, tight racing. So far, the number 23 Simrat Market Toyota Camry's been very, very loose and then very, very tight. So we got to find some kind of middle ground here. But I like our track position. We need some long runs here, and then we'll see if we can play some strategy and finish better than we should.
So what's the approach going to be here with 90 laps to work with, and as you said, a lot of swings that seem to be going back and forth with the car?
Yeah, ideal situation here for us is to go about 15 or 20 green and then get a yellow, because these guys behind us like Bikey are on fresh tires. So if we go long here, they're going to be way faster than us. So we need a perfect caution here at about 15 or 20 so I can put some tires on this thing. But overall, pretty happy with the performance tonight, and we'll try to close it out.
Thank you very much for your time. Why don't you get back to your team?
Thanks, guys.
Shane Wyatt with Dig. Looking to get digging here. A restart in the 5th position now. So, Cox, Rogers, Holden, Taylor, and Wyatt still top 5, still on older tires here. Coming up to the green. Green flag is out. We're backing away.
Another great launch by Cox or the Simrat Market restart zone. They're side by side behind him for second, though. Holden able to keep alongside that 44. He gets a good corner there on the bottom. He's going to clear him here up off turn 2.
Matt Cox now in control here. Mikey looking to make some passes on the outside, though. He moves up to the top 5. Mikey on the 2 tires, making them work here to be able to go deeper and deeper as he goes to the outside.
Pushing his way around to Ray Taylor there in the 9. He'll take that position with ease up to P4 now. Bikey with those fresh right side tires almost into the back of the 44. He's so much faster on entrance with that better race car as we've seen all night long, and better tires for him right now as well.
Oh, and some trouble up front. Cox and Holden get stacked up. So does Rogers. They all slide out of the corner. Caution flag is out as they start wrecking.
Mikey involved there. It's going to be interesting to see if that car got any damage. The 12 and Nick King got stuck in his door. That's what Mikey needed to avoid happening with putting himself further back in the field.
That started with stack up for the race lead there too. A bad spot there, Jeremy. Let's take a look.
Yeah, you see, it was a stack up. Nothing Bikey could do with the 44, just landing on his nose. He got extremely lucky, Justin. That 12 phase through the door of that car, and I think he's okay.
Nick King's still in the top 5, absolutely. Taking our look here. This started, as said, you see the loose condition for Cox. It's even worse here where they slow up in the corner. Cox gets loose, checks up the leader, checks up the 44. And they all try and lock it up in time instead. Not much they can do except hold it up and hope for the best.
See Coffee on pit lane right now, Nick King in the 12, so under the 54 got a piece of that because we saw him on pit lane before, so that's bad for his strategy with taking the set of tires there. We're on board with Johnny Shade in the 45. He crashed once again here. I heard him over the radio talking about just bad spot trying to check up for it, so we'll take a look at what happened to him.
Right there, spun around.
Yeah, it looks like he got some help from behind, just from the onboard there, trying to slow down for Varek, and see him on pit road trying to fix some damage, along with a lot of his competitors right now.
So, they'll wait around on pit road, a good third, if not near half the field. It's currently on pit road getting service done. Still 3 drivers left on older tires, by the way. And Shane Wyatt just took a set this caution flag.
Didn't quite get the laps he wanted, but I think he was a little involved in the incident there, possibly. Maybe that's why he came down and got some tires on the 23 machine. See what he can do with those tires, if he can work his way back through the field. A lot of the running order here has been kind of scrambled up with everything that's went on these past few laps in this beginning of this final stage.
Keep in mind here, one of the major things as Cox shoots the outside is, for much of this field, you can make it on gas if you save hard for 110 if you don't pop the tire. The fuel is not the major concern for this field right now, in theory. The tires are going to be.
Another delayed green here. Somebody stopped somewhere on the racetrack, but the fuel is not a concern whatsoever. These drivers can all make it on fuel to the end as long as they put enough fuel in the car, but if they filled it, they're definitely good to go. But like you said, those tires, but with all these yellows, Justin, that's helping this tire life, and they might not have to worry too much about the tires making it in terms of blowing a tire, just in terms of lap time and how much pace falls off over the course of that run.
Yeah, a lot of people in the Coke series tried to stretch it, got black flags, meatball flags from all the tire wear that popped up. It's been an atmosphere tonight, to say the very least, in the sim, by the way. Tempers are flaring. At the very least, the 2 Red Bull paint schemes are controlling things. That's a bright side, I guess you could say, from the drinks theme last time out.
Yeah, they were channeling their inner SVGs for the road courses, weren't able to quite get it done, and I guess this didn't work. In theory, it was going to work opposite here as well, so we're running up front in an oval, unlike him.
Yeah, SVG on the oval in Dover was towards the back of the field much of the day. In the end. So we'll come up to 82 laps to go. We get back fired up. And most of the field is set to see where this restart now takes them. But the freshest tire is going to be about, I'd say, 11th on back here for this upcoming restart. Beast Mode Performance cars serves 3 of the top 4 for the restart in the Simrat Market restart zone, a Simrat Market paint scheme. So one planted on the bottom for the restart. Green flag is out, we're back underway. Cox gets a good launch for the outside this time, like he does as well.
I know Bikey's his teammate. I don't agree with him taking the top there and helping the 27 launch through restart zone. I would have wanted to bury him behind the old tires in the 88 because now he's going to make quick work of holding P2, and Cox is just not going to be able to hold him off now, but he's up to second.
Now Bikey's going to be pretty fast here for this race lead. Got a little bit squirrely down the front straight away there. Right now, just trying to set something up to close up the gap pretty quickly here, separated by a car lane.
Looking for a little bit of clean air on the right side of that 32, finds some to the left side, and he's able to pull forward a little bit closer now here down the front straightaway. He's going to enter a little bit offset again. Oh, 32, Matt Cox overdrives the entry of 1 a little bit. Like he has to lift a little though as he gets the door shut on him out of turn 2.
How to play the line game, and Cox hit the apron this time. That costs him all sorts of momentum. Mikey nearly steps out of the corner though. They both are making mistakes here.
Mikey hounding his teammate in the 32. Matt Cox been one of the better cars all day long, but has not been as good as his teammate in the 27. The 27 additionally on fresher tires are now looking for anywhere around, but Cox driving more out in the mirror than the windshield is feeding him dirty air any which way he looks.
There's Cox not able to plant the bottom. Mikey slams his way through to the inside. Couldn't get it to stick to the inside fully, however, as they reset. 77 to go at the stripe. They're racing like there's 7 laps to go. Those the fresh tires have not been able to make their way through the pack yet. So this, seeing everyone shift through the corners to be able to get the best run.
Still right on the back bumper of the 32. Gets to the inside here. Huge dive out of the 27 of Bikey. He's clear for the center of the corner. Crossover. Matt Cox going to pull back alongside down the front straightaway. That 27's so strong, though. I think he has him now.
He has that preferred line for the exit, but he couldn't make it stick. Great crossover from Matt Cox. Now Cox will work the outside. Bikey looking for the setup to do it cleanly yet again. Cox doesn't want to give this up, even though the tires are older here on this race car. Cox seems to be able to make them stick here.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with Matt Cox right now. I thought this battle was over. Bikey got the positioning to the outside of that car. Fresher tires, thought he was going to roll on through, but Cox able to file it all deep in the inside lane and take that lead back.
Or sent to the inside. Bikey able to get the poke this time. Is it enough to get the rotation down? Not yet. Scrape to the wall, clear on by for the Beast Mode Performance car yet, though, for Cox. Top 5 and now broken away by more than a second, by the way. Cox, Bikey, Holden, Taylor, Wortman Jr. are all in this pack. Bikey getting blocked this time.
Cox using every inch of concrete available to him and more, scraping the fence on both ends of the racetrack at time. Does it again there. He is pushing the 32 as hard as it can possibly go. He is within millimeters of stepping past that edge and it being bad for the 32.
Oh, they made contact. Mikey's in the wall. Mikey bounced off the wall. They still hold on to it, though. Holden is now closing up rapidly. Mikey trying to do this clean, has to get this done fast. Now gets the sent to the inside again. Holden just giving them their space as they continue to fight. Will they end contact this time? No. Lead to the 32 still.
Yeah, just take a look at what this battling has done behind them, pulling in the rest of the top 5 into the frame of our picture. 32 tight to the right rear of the 27. Got pushed out wide a little bit. They're still side by side. He's chasing him down the racetrack, trying to side draft at Dover.
Pushed up the racetrack. Bikey is clear. Matt Cox shuffles back to second. Not over yet. Now it looks like it's calmed down. Bikey, after all sorts of work to be able to do this, takes the lead and now gets aero loose. Cox took the air off the spoiler and took away the outside.
Cox packed air on him perfectly right as you got over the hump of the hill on exit where the car is really light, got him loose, and he's back around to the lead on the high side. This is an incredible battle.
This is stunning. These are teammates, mind you, that are fighting like it's the last time around. Some aggressive battling between the two of them. No one else has been able to jump in quite yet, and now Bikey has lost ground and has to reset again.
Bikey might be just trying to settle down his psyche just as much as he is his tires at this point. He's been working so hard in the behind the wheel in the 27. Finally got the lead. Felt a bit of relief for a corner, and then Matt Cox, hard into the wall in the 27. That one might have done some damage.
That might be close to it. No scrape. Well, there is scrapes, but there isn't any damage visually on the race car. Bikey to regroup and reset here, as mostly everybody in their pack now is still on the older tires, so the tires have equalized enough to where those drivers who stuck it out for track position are making it stay out in front for said track position right now. Next nearest on the strategy on fresh tires, mind you, is still Paul Gallimore in 7th, 3 seconds back of the leader. Your biggest mover, by the way, is Nicholas Atwood, who's right now well behind the main pack.
Yeah, Atwood needs a run like this, so good to see him up there in the 6th position in the 91 car, just keeping his car clean throughout most of this race. I think he's probably had an issue or two, as most of the field has so far here at Dover, but you see that's the battle for the lead all up there in front of him. Cox has separated his way out in front of Bike here now. I'll tell you, Justin, if you're in the cockpit of that 27, you're angry right now.
Yeah, right now, seeing Matt Cox start to slowly crawl away on the 2-tire call Bikey still. We've seen 2 tires work here at Dover, Jeremy, this build. For some drivers in particular that comes to mind is someone from FLCC. But it's not the winning move, it seems, here today in this race if you don't have the right adjustment in the car.
Yeah, I didn't love the 2-tire call from Bikey when he made it. I didn't really criticize it at the time because I didn't think it was going to be a terrible move, but I do think he'd be in better shape right now if he took 4. And the bigger thing is, if he took 4 tires on the stop, I think he would have came out relatively in the exact same spot, maybe 1 spot further back than he did with taking 2. So not really much of a gain to put yourself at a grip disadvantage. Similar to Chase Elliott in real life on Sunday, they came down, they took 2 tires, they would have came out in the same position if they took 4 tires, made a big difference in the rest of their race. And I think that's what you're seeing right now for the 27 of Bikey.
Right now we're seeing everybody just trying, keeping a rhythm here in this run. Make sure the tires don't pop. Gavin Ruff, seeing him mid-screen. Still has Alex Coffey right behind him, who's picked up more damage repair on the car as of late. Ruff looking like he's getting checked up. Wants to go here, but doesn't want to force the issue.
Yeah, still.
Everyone's stacking up behind Atwood.
Yeah, Atwood's starting to slide a little bit backwards here. Back to P9. Barry Sanders just got around him in the 81 machine up to 8th. You see behind, though, a lot of cars pulling into the picture right here. Sean Rogers, Aaron Matthews, Alex Coffey rebounding from his pit road and having to go down after some more damage, and obviously there's Kevin Ruff in the 14.
Aaron Matthews forced up high side. Coffey passes both of them. Coffey doing his job, trying to get some decent points here. Been a bit of a rough one here in this one tonight, but Coffey's had decent speed in the car. It's just been the tough thing of actually keeping it clean. It's similar to last week where he had the speed, won the race, but it wasn't a clean run to get the race win.
No, he did still make mistakes. He just didn't make as many as others around him, and one of the mistakes he made hurt his competitor and helped him, so was able to come away with the win finally on a road course for him this season, getting it done in Sonoma. But right now, back up to P10, climbing forward slowly on this run as Atwood continues to slide deeper into the field.
Atwood just not looking good this run at the moment. He is one of those who took tires, or took fuel only, not tires, when they pit. So seeing the circumstances and the ramifications there. Rough, after his damage repair, just trying to stay lockstep for the time being with Coffey. He doesn't seem to want to ride, though, just floored it, trying to get the outside, nearly pushed up the racetrack.
Yeah, bit of a push there for sure. This track is really easy to do that. You just barely step over that edge and you're along for the ride. As you see up front now, this is the 9 of Taylor working off the back of Kyle Holden in the 88. Bikey still not able to separate himself from these two. Got the fence again there, and Wortman, they all hit the wall for turn 2.
Taylor doing a good job this race tonight. Strategies worked out very well for the 9 machine. He likes to risk it seems, based on what we've seen the past couple weeks. Great run so far for Taylor.
Yeah, running that top 5, another good run for him indeed. Needing these points, very valuable to him at this point in the season. Still wants to get up there and win a race for sure in the 9 machine. Speaking of winning a race, Tim Wortman Jr. in that 5th place position in the 83 car. He wants to win a race about as bad as anybody. He's been so close on a handful of times. Could tonight be the night? Can something go his way here late at Dover?
Right now, this race continuing just pass time along as the run continues on here. Tim Wortman Jr. just trying to manage right now. And Wortman Jr. for Warrior Racing, flying the flag for the organization here tonight, keeping up with these drivers. Bikey, by the way, he's starting to slide back. His times have dropped off a 10th to the leader the past few laps.
This is getting to be the longest we've ran on tires all night long. I mean, it definitely actually has to be at this point, the longest we've run on tires all night long. Also on 2 tires for Bike, he's going to upset that balance more and more. Over the course, run 88 Holden now, moving forward on the inside of Bikey in the 27. 27 starting to head backwards here. Not the dominant car that we saw earlier on in the event.
Right now, Bikey going the wrong way, and we'll see. Things now settle. The Red Bull cars have done a phenomenal job tonight. 2 different organizations being represented. Kyle Holden with Team Arrow, EMP for the race leader. Looking like Wortman Jr. now trying to find a way to push the issue as Bikey's checking things up, though. Wortman Jr. scrapes the wall down.
Yeah, Tim's got to be careful there. He got himself a little bit too high, wide, and handsome, and then got the air taken away on exit, and just nothing to lean on that 83 car. Got away with it that time, but you can't keep hitting the wall and over again. Eventually, you might get unlucky, and you might break something. I understand he's faster right now than the 2 in front of him, but you got to make a pass over several laps at Dover. You can't just get it done in one go.
Right now, these drivers just trying to pass the time and make sure they manage the ground on the racetrack. 47 to go when we get to the stripe here from Dover Motor Speedway. People are keeping an eye on things with their crew members, making sure everything is up to snuff here. What would you be saying to your drivers if you were a crew chief right now, with how things have settled out this run? And we're seeing some of these drivers just trying to manage themselves.
Yeah, if you already cooked your tires, you're not really going to get them back, so you're just trying to keep the temps as low as you can, manage what you've got, and hope for a yellow, another chance to reset. If you're one of the guys that's done a good job on your tires so far, you got to remind yourself, or remind your driver, still a ton of race left. Can't start pushing yet. You're still saving tires. You're still trying to get to the end. All these drivers should be good on fuel here at Dover. The question is just that tire life. Will you make these tires last again? Oh, every time one of them gets the wall off a turn 2, the 3 or 4 behind them follow. It's the craziest thing to watch.
See Ruff trying to get the inside to work. No. Coffee resettles. Still in 10th. Still plenty of laps to work around. So pretty soon some of these drivers might start to get tire warnings if they haven't been saving, though, keep in mind. And that one becomes the question, do you even risk a pit stop here knowing you can make it on fuel, but also know you might pop a tire? It's a 2-lap disadvantage if you come down a pit.
Yeah, I think you got to run as long as you can here. If you pit and then the yellow comes out, you're 2 laps down, your race is destroyed. So even though it might not be the most comfortable situation now, you really just got to keep running. If you're going to blow a tire, you're going to blow a tire, Justin, honestly. It's which do you want to risk? Do you want to risk the pit stop and then the yellow, or do you want to risk running the tire as long as you can and hoping you get a yellow before that point you're not the first one to blow one?
Good point there, as Mikey has really fallen off this run. He is now near 2 seconds off the leader. Taylor and Wortman Jr. have been slowly but surely showing a bit more urgency here, but they have been running the exact same pace as the 27. So they've not been able to do anything here to stop this time bleed, especially with how Bikey It's having to really let it roll center. Looks like Wortman Jr. getting a run. Taylor lets him go.
Good spot picked up there by Tim Wortman Jr. He'll set his sights on the 27 of Bikey now for P3. Tim always pretty good on these long runs, really good at taking care of those tires, so it's starting to show its way forward for the 83 machine up the P4.
Podium chance, all while Coffee still providing pressure. And that seems to be the major thing for some of these drivers, is trying to pressurize into a mistake. We see it at a lot of these racetracks. For Coffee, he's trying to set something up. A good run off the corner, gets side by side.
Yeah, fully alongside Sean Rogers here. Looking to find a way to keep that momentum rolling on exit. It's so tough though. He's in the door of the 44, leaning on him very hard on exit. About as hard as you can lean somebody on Dover without putting them up in the fence though, so I'll give him credit for not putting it too hard in the door of the 44, but he just takes the position there. He forces the 44 to lift. That'll put him clear. That's up to P9 for Alex Coffey. Nick King though down pit road in the 12 machine.
So it begins. Drivers' potential with tires being on the mind. Less than 40 laps to go. So now, see how things now go. Nicholas Atwood, mind you, had gone down pit road 4 minutes ago. Oh, Coffey just knocked down the wall. That was a hard hit for Alex Coffey. That didn't damage the front end enough, though, to cause visual damage.
Yeah, it looks okay still for Coffey, trying to work onto the back of Barry Sanders now in the 81. Sanders been quiet most of the afternoon, had some incidents early, turned somebody earlier, but he's P8 right now and settling in, trying to have a nice top 10 finish if he can hold on to these tires for another 37 laps.
So as they battle behind them right now, taking a look once again at what's going on behind Bikey. Starting to chip the gap back down as Matt Cox has now equalized out to 24-1s as well, but they still have a lot of time to be able to pick up this time by Wortman Jr. out of everybody in the top 5. Tied for the highest average of the past 5 laps with Jeffrey Taylor in the 24-107s. So the cars behind here are a little bit quicker, but not enough to make a pass.
Yeah, Jeffrey Taylor was just coming. He wasn't just hanging around back there, just wasn't able to quite make the pass on Bikey. Tim Wortman Jr. is trying to find his way around now. Not easy to make that pass at 27, not as strong as it was earlier, but still a really strong race car. And it's hard to pass strong race cars when you're even with somebody or just barely faster. This is one of the tracks that it's just not easy to get that move done. And I think Tim needs to start thinking about maybe packing air on that left rear of the 27 like we saw with Cox earlier. Might be the only way around that machine.
Different lines still being utilized by a lot of these drivers here as we run out of time in this race. Cox has now been able to find the afterburners and pick up the speed by another couple tenths, by the way. He's ran off by more than a second over Kyle Holden to really separate out this field.
See this battle still flaming on between the 27 and 83. Taylor still keeping in check as well. Just nowhere that Wortman seems to be able to go to get around that 27 car. I think he's faster right now, but just not faster enough.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was trying to mention earlier on. They're on the same cycle and tire strat, except one's on 4 tires, one's on 2. Jose Medina way low on the racetrack, nearly spooked some of the drivers there for a moment. No issue as he tries to go to pit road. And now this is the tough part right now, is finding little bits of speed to do something, to do anything, to make this pass. What would you be doing to find those little bits of speed to actually make a side-by-side move here?
Yeah, we haven't seen Tim really explore the higher part of the racetrack. Could maybe go up and flirt with the cushion a little bit, see if you can find some grip up there. Other than that, really all you can do is try to pack some air, but the 27 is actually spaced out a little bit on Tim Wortman Jr. right now, and I think part of what the issue is for Wortman here is he spent all that time trying to pass Taylor in the 9. He doesn't want to experiment with something, have it be a mistake, and then let that 9 right back by.
Mikey clipped a little bit of the apron. That sets something up for Wortman Jr. Does he take it? No, he doesn't. Tim Wortman Jr. backs up the corner. Now looks to see what he can do. Not close enough to pack up the air, but he is checking up behind the 27 now with these corners as they reach lap traffic.
Yeah, Wilson can throw a bit of a wrench into things here. We'll see how they catch and deal with the 18 car. He's damaged and a little off on pace. Looks like they're going to be a little separated as they get to him, so it may not cause too much of an issue, but Bikey might get caught side-by-side on exit here. He is going to get caught side-by-side with the 18. Wortman was able to capitalize, saw it coming, got a good run, but still not enough to get to the 27. I think Bikey is fortunate right now with Tim's being pretty conservative on entry and not really trying to stay close to that 27. If he stopped backing up those turns and really stayed close to that bumper on entry, he might be able to upset that 27 car a little.
And right now just trying to get right now in position to do that. Will he take a lunge to the inside? No. Now he's got a chance. Bikey moved up the track. Black flag Johnny Shane. He might have hit a tire puncture. Bikey went up the track and opened the door. That was very sudden.
Yeah, it was a big bobble out of the 27 up to the middle of the racetrack, but that allows Wortman and Taylor through. Bikey falls back to 5th. I'm starting to question how his tires are feeling for him, and he may be one that we see blow a tire to what we saw right there. That looked like the right front just hit a bit of a cliff, and I mean, he's dropping really quickly off these two. I mean, doesn't look too bad, but compared to the pace we saw out of him earlier, something's amiss on the 27 car.
Something's gone wrong very fast. By the way, Johnny Shea was not a tire issue. Crashed into somebody. He hit the back of Barry Sanders after he hit the wall, hit the incident limit, slammed the inside wall. We stayed green from it. We'll see if there's an issue for Mikey on tires in the next moment or so. He's fallen off a cliff. Wortman Jr. now trying to see if there's any chance to close up to Kyle Holden.
Take a look at our lap times here, and both him and Taylor, the fastest two cars on the track right now. They just spent so much time trying to get around Bikey that they weren't able to capitalize on this pace for so long. I mean, you can see how far back the 27 has fallen off. He is running really poor lap times right now. If somebody is going to blow a tire out of these front runners, it is going to be that 27 car.
Two tires, keep in mind, already 76 laps into the run. Some of those out here are already at 87 laps into their tires here. So a lot of risky calls here. Aaron Matthews, 14 laps ago, had pit. Nick King, Johnny Shade now taking his service now. Or going back out for a moment. So a lot of things to think about for some of the drivers. There's a look at the 27. Paul Gallimore will be the next one up in the queue to try and make a move, and Gallimore is closing up rapidly.
See Matthews there to the inside heat pit, so he has fresher tires. You can see 15-lap-old tires, how much of a difference that 15-lap-old tires make the 70-lap-old tires, or 77-lap-old tires in the case of Bikey here. So those tires are flying. I'll tell you, Justin, if nobody makes it on tires, Aaron Matthews might win this race simply just being by the one that pit early, made up all this time, but obviously going to need a lot of help and need a lot of tire failures. I just don't think that's realistically going to happen all the way across the board.
There's Gallimore easily to the inside here with Bikey up the surface. Making the pass. Shane Wyatt, I think, just blew a tire. Yes, indeed he did. He was running 15th. The 23 has just got a tire puncture.
Yep, definitely starting to see that happen there. Shane Wyatt, unfortunately, first to blow a tire. The 74 just got around the 27 here. At 27's right front is coming to an end quickly. I don't think that's making it to the end, especially if we already see a tire blowing this early in the run for Shane Wyatt.
Wortman Jr., meanwhile, getting the fishing rod out, starting to reel on in. Holden, last time by, gained a 10th. On average, he's gained nearly a 10th a second the past 5 and about a 10th the past 10. So Wortman Jr. has a chance to at least get to second here. He's got the car. He seems to have the tires too.
Yeah, Tim looking really good at this point in the run. Barry Sanders, there's another meatball. Oh, in the wall, Holden, that's going to help Tim. Doesn't have to battle the 88 at all. He's through to second right now. He's faster than Matt Cox.
But it's going to be almost 2 seconds he needs to pick up. He's going to have to hurry. Only has so much time to work with here to be able to do something. Mikey's now falling into the clutches of Coffee, you can see. That opens the door quickly. No rotation for Mikey. Coffee able to move back up to 7th.
2 second gap indeed, but the question mark, do Matt Cox's tires hold on? I think Tim's right front looks better right now, as well as Jeffrey Taylor in the 9. So if Cox is going to have an issue, these guys might, and there's another tire, Justin Belmonte, they're starting to drop like flies.
Justin Belmonte was 71 laps into a run there too. Some of these drivers aren't even that far into their tire life right now. Blaine Wilson, tire issue. Everybody's getting tire problems. This is what we predicted. Mikey is in for pit road.
Mikey didn't let it get to that point. Knew he was going to blow a tire. It was very obvious. The 27 car was not going to make it to the... Oh, did he blow one? I'm sorry. I missed that.
Yes, he did. Got a meatball flag, so Mikey did blow a tire. Belmonte picks up a black flag on his pit entry. Tough pit road to enter under green flag conditions. Now some of these drivers are making stops that are likely unscheduled. Will everybody else survive? The lead down to 1.5.
It's closing.
Tiptoeing. He's got a tiptoe.
Yeah, 3 tenths last lap. Orman's going to get there, Justin.
Obviously concerned about the tires. 2 tenths off last time. Tim Wortman Jr.'s consistently stayed in the 24-second bracket now that he's gotten the clean air. Coming up to 10 laps to work with here. Will Cox's tires survive? He picked it back up.
Yes, he did. Faster than Tim Wortman Jr. that lap, so Cox found what he was looking for there. Maybe he was just trying to conserve tires for a couple of laps. Get the temps back down. Oh, he hit the wall this time, though, so he's definitely pushing that car. I wonder if he's feeling the pressure.
Got to manage the time right now, because if there's rapid time loss, then it's a problem. Oh, something happened to Cox on that exit. Getting to the lap traffic. That spooked him out, the lap traffic of Nigel Christensen.
Yeah, blinking car, not something that the leader wanted to see right there. Kind of didn't know what he was going to be able to do on the exit of that corner, but got through it still faster than Wortman that time through. We'll see the lap times again, this time a 24.2 out of Cox. And looks like a number 24 flat out of Wortman in behind him, so number 2 tenths that time by for Tim Wortman Jr.
Not enough though. He needs a lot more time gain. Oh, near contact behind him with Aaron Matthews nearly running the back end of lap traffic. Some of these drivers now 100 laps on their tires now. They are screaming at this point.
Everybody that's made it to this point has done an incredible job with their tires. I don't think I could have managed tires over this long we were on at Dover, and I think we see not many can. So many drivers out there have blown tires and are really struggling. Tim Wortman Jr., though, with 11 lap fresher tires in the leader, Matt Cox. Could that be the difference here?
Drivers like Kyle Holden just said on the radio that they're just trying to protect the right front. Kyle Holden's fallen all the way to 6th spot over the course of this run, mind you. So it's getting sketchy.
I talked about in the beginning of the show, Matt Cox. I picked him to win this race because I think he's so good at doing exactly what he's done this run. He can take care of those tires and get them to the end. Wortman with the fresher tires a little bit better right now, but Cox has still done relatively so much better than anyone else in the field.
90 laps led all throughout this run for Matt Cox here. Kyle Holden, tire blow. The 88 just got a meatball flag. 4 laps to go.
Another few tenths have been closed in by Wortman Jr. 4 to go. He's 7 tenths behind Cox. He's going to need that 32 to blow a tire.
Jeffrey Taylor also blew a tire, so more of the drivers that ran up front not able to make it. 104 laps is the furthest they went. They're at that point now. 3 to go. The gap's 7 tenths of a second with lots of traffic around them.
Cox makes quick work of an overlapped Carver, pulling that gap back out over Tim Wortman Jr. this lap. I think that 32 has it in the bag.
2 laps to go. Now Tim Wortman Jr.'s backed off significantly. 3 tenths lost last time by for the 83. Traffic trying to zip its way around the 83, all while Matt Cox looking to make it around. Coming up to the white flag this time by 1 to go, brought to you by League Gaming. Final time around from Dover. Matt Cox risked it on strategy, got track position by staying out during one of the caution flags. Got himself the race lead on older tires. Still kept it up front. In the end, it's Matt Cox who wins at Dover.
Just extraordinarily impressive, Justin. You can see the intervals, cars with fresher tires falling off them. Nobody was able to do what Matt Cox could with those tires here today.
Survival to get to the end. Matt Cox, Tim Wortman, Paul Gallimore all get on the podium. Their tires all survive to get to the checkered. Coffey does recover to a top 5. Chris Davis got a 4th place run out of this race.
Good job by Chris Davis to find some positions there late. See Matt Cox coming down the front stretch. He's going to burn it down for us.
Celebration time for car 32. Oh, and the welcome party just crashed into him.
Oh, the car was beautiful and clean.
Chris Davis didn't like it. So the celebration's on. Post-race coverage is coming up in just a few moments. You're watching tonight's coverage of the OB Builders Cup Series of the RS Button Boxes 200, where in the end, Matt Cox gets the job done at Dover. Welcome back to Dover Motor Speedway for post-race coverage of Moonshiners here in this one. I'll be having with us here for the RS Button Boxes 200, where Matt Cox in the end gets the victory. Tim Wortman Jr. gets second. Paul Gallimore rounds out your top 3. We'll speak with some of those drivers soon. Chris Davis, Alex Coffey, the top 5 with Rogers and Ruff in the top 10. Great car alongside Nigel Christensen. Jeffrey Taylor does get a top 10 after pitting.
Brandon Bikey P11 after dominating much of the early portions of this race, followed by Aaron Matthews, the first driver to duck down and take those tires, coming home in 12th. Holden, another competitive car up front, finished at 13th, and Shane Wyatt follows him in 14th. Nick King came home in 15th. Blaine Wilson, after several incidents throughout the night, came in 16th, followed by Justin Belmonte, Barry Sanders, Johnny Shane, and Brandon Fetter placing 20th, 15 laps down.
Then Jose Medina back with Nicholas Atwood, Caden Norfray, Ryan Huff, and Jared Clark, all towards the back of the running order. So top to bottom of the running order here tonight in this one. So Matt Cox is trying to find his way to virtual victory lane. This is a drivable victory lane here at Dover. Matt Cox comes away with a win. Matt, you survived. How does it feel?
It feels pretty good. Yeah, I was kind of scared to death there, hoping not to blow a tire there at the very end. I got a tire warning pretty about midway through that run, so I was kind of just hoping and praying.
Able to get 2 Van Looy stickers victory in the very end, though. But as the run went on and as the tires became a concern here, what did you do to start to manage it? Did you try and back off? Did you try to adjust your driving? What were you doing to try and make sure you survived?
Yeah, I knew I was on my right rear, so after I started to gap them out a little bit, I started lifting pretty early and trying to really get a good diamond to drive the car straight off the corner, and then do that fast enough not to lose much time. But yeah, I could just feel the car start getting looser and looser. But yeah, I mean, probably 10 more laps and I would have had to pit, or I would have wrecked it, because it was pretty gone at that point. And Tim was coming. Tim was putting some pressure on.
So on that note, still have a few more races to go in the stretch. The Brickyard's next. Your thoughts on Indy?
Oh man, Indy is like one of my worst tracks, so I'm not excited about it from just a racing standpoint for myself, but also for the kind of racing we've been seeing is very, follow the leader. You get probably 10 laps to try and make moves, and then you're pretty locked in. So it's going to be tough racing. We're going to have to, I'm going to have to figure something out, because like I said, I am not good there. I don't know why, just can't do it.
Any shout you'd like to give here tonight?
Just all the B&P boys. Shout out Brandon. We had a pretty fun battle there at the beginning of that run. After we got that last caution, he raced me clean. It's so fun racing somebody who is going to give you some respect, and you don't really have to worry about them taking you out. So yeah, that was fun stuff.
Congratulations on the run here tonight.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So in the end, Matt Cox gets the win here tonight in this one. Tim Wortman Jr. is able to get the second. He's with Jeremy.
Tim, sorry talking to you again in the P2 interview, but I'm sure you're glad to get the good finish, but so close to a win yet again. What more did you need on those last few laps to keep that right front on the car and have a chance to chase down Cox in the 32?
I need the iRacing spotters to not be in my ear telling me, oh, the tire's going to blow, the tire's going to blow. I just needed to be able to run and at my pace, because the car felt really, really good. I think it looked like it was running really good, other than that little snafu I had off 2 there with like 3 to go. It was turning real good, getting off the corners good. I just needed to not have the worry in the back of my mind that I was about to get a black flag.
Yeah, definitely heard you at the end talking about having some good tire life left, so unfortunate that the sim gave you that call. I know that can be frustrating with sim racing, but another great run for you. You're rolling some great momentum through the summer as we get headed towards the playoffs. Obviously, you don't have that win to earn yourself locked in, but you're essentially locked in on points at this point. What do you need to do moving next week in the Indy and even beyond that to keep this rolling in the positive direction for your team?
I think you guys are starting to get the gist of what I talk about, how I get a bunch of podiums and don't win races. We're getting into the heart of one of the this is my style right here. We had one or 2 years ago with Kenny, that Kenny won like 10 or 12 races, and I bet I finished second to him in 7 or 8 of them. But next week's home track, everybody loves Indy. It's the crown jewel race. and I plan on coming there and running up front, just like we did all last year at that track.
I definitely look forward to seeing you run up front again next week. And who all helps you get it done in the 83 every week, keeping you up front battling for wins?
All the guys at Warrior Racing, Nick with the, I say this every week. Nick's always put me in good looking cars. Have another one coming here soon. The guys over at Ryko build great sets. Man, that car was fast there at the end. The guys for running me really clean there at the last stage. The guys that missed me whenever I almost self-spun in the first stage. I think I came through the field into the top 10 at least 5 times tonight. It was good once I made it into the top 5 to finish this out and be talking to you guys.
Definitely always good to hear from you, and we look forward to talking to you some more next week after hopefully another great run for you.
Yeah, hopefully a win next week.
All right, thank you, Tim. All right, and we're going to move on to Paul Gallimore at third place finishers with Justin.
Yes, indeed. And tonight, you're able to come away with the top 3. What's going through your mind after this run where, in the end, a good quarter, if not half the field popped tires?
That last run, 80, I think it was about 80 laps where we went. I had a lot of tire left too. I just got my tire warning as we crossed the line for the checkered because I really thought my spotter's notorious for never, when he gives me that warning, it's usually way worse than that. So I was like, man, I don't know why I haven't got a warning yet. So I could have pushed a little harder, maybe got to Wortman. I don't know if I had anything for Cox, but it certainly was fun. Finally to put a race together and finish one off. That's rewarding. First top 5 of the year and a podium at that. I'll take it. It's a great points day and stage points too. So heck yeah, it looked like a good race. I was just hoping we'd get a good green flag run there, and we did.
Indeed, we definitely did get one there. So overall, how would you describe this season for you in this field, with especially you being in the conversation to try and get on the postseason with the cut line?
It's been a struggle. I mean, we came through some tracks that I performed really well at. Michigan being one, I led some laps there. Fuel mileage thing didn't work out in my favor. Pocono was a good track for me. I had a fast car there. It didn't work out. I've had a lot of things not work out, and that's why I'm just happy to finally have one finally worked out. I've had some good runs, just unfortunately some issues with closing them out, and this is one we finally got to get closed out. We just need to keep putting these together till end of the regular season and go on and run in the playoff. If we make it.
Yes. Indianapolis is next. Your thoughts on the Brickyard?
Not done much work there yet. I've been focused on this, but what I have done there, it looks like it's going to be another tire management kind of thing. A lot of, draft isn't nearly as strong as it was in years past with the new update and whatnot. This new tire model and whatnot does reward patience, it looks like a little bit. But I'm looking forward to it. Love going to Indy. Just hope for a good, clean race there, and I think we'll stack up pretty good.
Any shots you'd like to give here tonight?
Absolutely. Kenny Copeland, Team Watson Racing setups there. Those guys put together some good race. Good setup. Brandon Bikey helped with that this week. All my teammates over there at Beast Mode Performance. Everything we've worked together and had a great run there. Icon Apparel. Just guys like that, and they do great, and I'm just happy to be a part of a great team like this.
Congratulations on the run here tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Paul Gallimore, able to get a top 3 run here in this one. Thank the entire top 3 for speaking with stream post-race coverage here on Ballin TV. But it's Indianapolis next time out on July the 30th, Jeremy. Your thoughts for the Brickyard?
Crown Jewel event, we heard it here. Very important to the drivers to go down there and run well and go for a win. So, talking to Paul Gallimore there, he's one of the drivers on the cutoff. Great points day tonight. He'll be looking for another one a week from now in Indianapolis.
We'll see that 8 p.m. Eastern time once again to be able to tune in for the action for the OB Builders Cup Series here from the Brickyard next week. But it's time to say goodbye. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in for tonight's coverage. For Jeremy Miller and our producer DJ Lyon, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching Ballin TV for coverage of the Moonshiners Racing League and the OB Builders Cup Series. Congratulations to Matt Cox, your winner from Dover.